Imagine a chilling moment. You're sitting across from someone, maybe a friend, a colleague, or even a family member, and they're smiling at you. The smile is perfect, warm, friendly, but behind that mask is a cold, calculating machine. A mind plotting every move to erase you from existence. Not because they simply hate you, hate is too simple, too ordinary for them. No, they want you gone, dead. And the scariest part, you have no idea until it's far too late. We often think of narcissists as arrogant, controlling people, the kind who trample over your feelings to feed their inflated ego. But today, I'm not here to tell you the usual story. No, I'm here to walk you through a door most people are too afraid to open, a door that leads to a darker, colder, and more dangerous truth than anything you've ever faced. There are narcissists out there who don't just want you to suffer. They're not satisfied with making you doubt yourself or watching you fail. They want to end you, not just mentally, but physically. And they do it with a patience and precision so chilling, you'll ask yourself, how was I ever so blind? This isn't a video designed to scare you or throw you into a spiral of paranoia. Think of it instead as a lighthouse in the storm, a guiding light to help you recognize the shadows hiding behind a human face. I'm going to walk you through 5 clear signs, sharp as a blade, that reveal when a narcissist doesn't just want to bring you down, they're planning your complete disappearance. These signs aren't vague speculations or shock tactics. They're carved from deep psychological insights, from the raw essence of human nature, and from behavioral patterns only the most dangerous individuals ever reveal. By the time this journey ends, you won't just know how to spot the threats lurking around you. You'll hold the key to protecting yourself and possibly those you love most. But let me warn you, this truth isn't gentle. It will force you to re-examine every relationship in your life through a new lens, one that, once opened, can never be closed again. If you've ever felt a strange intuition, a sense of unease around someone you couldn't quite explain, this is your moment to stay. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and join me as we step into this confrontation with the darkness. Because once you see it, and trust me, you won't want to. Sig 1. The silent information hunter. Let's begin with the first sign, one that doesn't scream for your attention but whispers in silence, slipping into your life like a cold wind you can't quite grasp. They are the silent information hunters, narcissists who turn watching you into a secret ritual, a shadowy game. This isn't the passing curiosity of an acquaintance or the jealous glance of an old rival. No, this is a calculated operation, carried out with the precision of a military strategist, where every detail about you is gathered, not to understand you, but to prepare for the final strike. Picture this. You're living your life, going through your daily routines, sipping your morning coffee, jogging through the park, working in your usual quiet corner. But while you think you're just living your day, there are invisible eyes watching, noting, analyzing. They know what time you leave the house, which shortcut you like to take, even the days you're too exhausted to stay alert. The fear doesn't come just from what they know, it's from how well they hide the obsession. They don't ask suspicious questions, they don't make obvious moves. They cloak themselves in the guise of normalcy so thoroughly that you never suspect you're being hunted. And then comes the question, why are they doing this? Let me take you deeper. For a typical narcissist, watching might feed jealousy or satisfy a craving for control. But for the most dangerous ones, this isn't about ego. It's preparation for something far more sinister. They don't want to know you to compete or to mock. They want to know you to find your most vulnerable spot, the place they can strike without warning, the moment they can act and no one will be able to stop them. Every piece of information is another brick in a wall they're building around you, a wall you won't even see until it's sealed you in completely. So how do you spot them? Look at the subtle patterns you usually ignore. Is there someone who keeps showing up in your life at oddly convenient times, but never has a clear reason why? Someone who asks seemingly harmless questions about your routine, your habits, but dodges when you turn the questions back on them. That's not random curiosity, that's a mind drawing a map of your life. not to walk with you, but to find the path that leads to your downfall. But don't stop at suspicion. Take action. Start tracking these patterns. Note every strange appearance, every question that doesn't make sense. Limit what you share, not just on social media, but in everyday conversations that seem trivial. And most importantly, trust your gut. If something about someone makes you feel uneasy, don't talk yourself out of it. Intuition is the first spark that warns you of smoke, and that smoke could be the early sign of a fire, quietly waiting to consume you. Sig 2, the life-sabotaging artist. Continuing our journey, we now arrive at the second sign, one that doesn't just target you, but everything you've built, every brick, every relationship, every dream. They are the life-sabotaging artists. Narcissists who aren't satisfied with hurting you once or drawing a few tears. No, they want to paint a masterpiece of destruction, where you stand alone in the ashes of your own life, with no one left to lean on and nothing left to hold on to. The perfect setting for their final blow. Picture a scenario like this. Your life is flowing along, not perfect but stable. Then suddenly cracks begin to appear. A longtime friend stops replying to your messages, no explanation. Co-workers begin whispering behind your back, their eyes filled with suspicion. The job you love, the one you've poured sweat and passion into, begins to wobble under the weight of rumors from nowhere. You ask yourself, what's happening? What did I do wrong? But here's the chilling truth. You did nothing. There's an invisible hand pulling the strings, a hand that doesn't just want you to hurt, but wants you to lose everything. Now let's go deeper into their mind. A typical narcissist might enjoy seeing you fail just to feel superior or to feed their inner jealousy, but the most dangerous ones, for them, your failure is just the beginning. They don't want you to lose a battle, they want you to lose the war. They plant toxic seeds in your closest relationships, spreading lies so subtle no one realizes they all come from the same source. They chip away at your reputation with tiny, precise cuts until you appear untrustworthy, unstable, maybe even dangerous in the eyes of others. This isn't some impulsive revenge, it's a symphony, carefully composed, where every note is another broken piece of your life. And what makes this sign even more terrifying, it's how well they hide their role. They don't stand in front of you with a knife, they stand behind you, smiling like a friend, comforting you as your world collapses. They'll play the neutral party, even the victim, while secretly being the architect of the chaos. Every time you reach out for help, they're there, not to lift you up but to pull you further down, making sure that when you fall, no one rises with you. So what can you do to spot them? Step back and look at the bigger picture. Is there someone who always seems vaguely connected to every mess in your life lately? Someone who somehow makes you feel responsible for every failure while they stand off to the side looking innocent? That's not coincidence. That's the mark of someone scripting a stage where you're the lead in their final act. To protect yourself, start taking action today. Document everything, every message, every strange conversation, every suspicious event. Build a network of people who truly know you, people who can see through the web of lies they're spinning. Don't let them isolate you, because the moment you stand alone, they already have the upper hand. Turn your awareness into a shield, and your trusted circle into a fortress against their masterpiece of destruction. 6.3. The fake best friend. Now we descend into a deeper layer of deception, a place where the enemy isn't watching from a distance, but sitting right beside you, holding your hand and smiling in your face. They are the fake best friends, narcissists, who don't just enter your life, they claim your heart, your trust, and turn it into a weapon sharper than any blade. This isn't the kind of fake affection you can easily spot. This is a performance crafted with the finesse of a master actor, where you are the only audience and the final victim. Picture this in your mind. One day, someone enters your life, maybe a new friend, a co-worker, or an old acquaintance, suddenly resurfacing. They don't rush. They don't push. They slowly weave their way into your world through small gestures. A thoughtful question, a sympathetic glance, a shoulder when you need to lean. You begin to open up, sharing secrets you've never told anyone, fears you've buried deep inside. You think, finally, I've found someone who truly cares. But when the curtain falls, you realize every word you spoke, every tear you shed was noted, not to lift you up, but to prepare the knife that would one day be driven into your back. Let's dive deeper into their motive. For an average narcissist, closeness is a tool, a way to manipulate you, to make you dependent. But for the most dangerous ones, intimacy is a doorway, an entrance straight into your heart and soul. They don't just want you to trust them, they want you to hand over your entire life. They ask about your schedule, not to help you organize, but to know when you'll be alone. They dig into your fears, not to protect you, but to discover exactly how to break you when the time is right. This isn't friendship, it's a plan, designed to turn your trust into a noose tied tightly around your neck. And what makes this sign more terrifying than any other? It's the perfection of their performance. They don't stumble, they don't slip. They might be the first person you call when things go wrong, the one who always shows up just when you need them most. But every time you open up, you're not just sharing your heart, you're handing them a weapon. And when they've gathered enough, when they've mapped out every weakness inside you, the act will end and there will be no curtain call. So how can you spot them before it's too late? Look at the speed and depth of the connection. Is there someone who suddenly becomes close to you in a way that feels unnatural, far beyond what you expected? Someone who asks about your deepest fears, your plans, your insecurities, but never shares anything real about themselves? That's not genuine friendship. That's a carefully scripted performance. To stay safe, set boundaries now. Don't rush to open your heart to people who haven't earned a place in your life. Keep your distance from anyone who seems overly eager to invade your personal world. Trust is a sacred gift. Don't give it to an actor who's only waiting for their chance to bring the curtain down. Remember, the most beautiful smile can belong to the most dangerous enemy. And their smile isn't light. It's darkness, waiting to swallow you whole. 6.4. Threats in disguise. As we continue this journey, we arrive at the fourth sign, one that will send chills down your spine when you look back at seemingly harmless moments, those offhand remarks that once felt like nothing more than passing wind. These are the narcissists who lace your life with threats in disguise, words wrapped in laughter but carrying the cold breath of death. They might say, "I could kill you right now," followed by a burst of laughter, as if it were just a harmless joke. But when the laughter fades, you feel a strange emptiness in your chest, because deep down, a quiet part of your soul knows that wasn't a joke, it was a promise. Imagine a dangerous game like this. They stand in front of you, grinning ear to ear, their voice soft and casual. They throw out a comment, maybe about hurting you, about a random accident that could happen to you, and then cover it with a shrug or a friendly pat on the shoulder. You laugh along because you don't want to seem overly sensitive. You don't want to ruin the moment. But then, those jokes don't stop. They become more frequent, more pointed. A clumsy bump in the hallway, a stare that lingers too long, a presence that unsettles you for reasons you can't quite name. This isn't coincidence, this is a test, a prelude to something darker, more dangerous. Let's dig deeper into their mindset. For the average narcissist, aggression might be used to assert dominance, to make you fearful and obedient. But for the most dangerous ones, aggression is not the goal, it's the tool. They don't throw out these threats to make you tremble on the spot. They do it to measure you, to see how you react, to test whether you're alert enough to recognize danger. Every time you laugh along, every time you brush it off, you send them a signal that you didn't see it, that you're not ready, that you'll be an easy target when the real moment arrives. And when they escalate, from words to actions, from jokes to knives, you wish you had listened to the whispers of your intuition much earlier. What makes this sign an urgent alarm you can't ignore? It's the escalation. Dangerous narcissists don't stop at a comment or a single act. They test your boundaries, step by step, like a conductor guiding an orchestra. A joke today becomes a direct threat tomorrow. A clumsy bump today becomes a violent shove next week. They are not in a rush. They're patiently watching how far you'll let them go before you finally wake up. But when you do, it might be too late to run. So how can you recognize them? Pay close attention, not just to what they say, but how they say it. Is there someone in your life who frequently makes strange comments about violence, even if they're just joking? Is there someone whose behavior is subtly growing more aggressive, standing too close, pushing past you, making you feel threatened without a clear reason why? Don't laugh it off to keep the peace. Don't convince yourself you're overreacting. Take action immediately. Set firm boundaries and watch how they respond. If they get angry at being rejected, if they try to make you feel like you're too sensitive, that's not innocence. It's a red flag waving from a sharpened blade. Your survival depends on listening to this alarm bell. Don't let politeness or self-doubt turn you into the victim of a prophecy they whispered long ago. Sig 5. The Patient Predator. At last, we arrive at the fifth sign. The deepest, most subtle, and most terrifying of them all. They are the patient predators. Narcissists, who don't need to act right away because they know time is their most loyal ally. They don't make noise, they don't show off, and they leave no obvious trace. They are as patient as a storm building far out at sea, silent, invisible, but when it finally strikes, nothing can stand in its way. This isn't the kind of threat you see coming. This is a long game, carefully crafted over months, even years, to ensure that when they make their move, there's no escape. Imagine someone like this in your life. They don't stand out. They don't draw attention with grand gestures or sharp words. They're just there. Consistently, quietly, seemingly harmless. They ask about your future, your long-term plans, the trips you want to take, your goals for the next decade, with a sincerity so convincing you never suspect a thing. You believe they're walking alongside you on the journey of life. But the chilling truth is, they're not there to cheer you on. They're there to take notes, to map your path, to wait for the perfect moment when your guard is down, your strength is gone, and no one is left to protect you. Let's take a deeper look into their mind. For the average narcissist, revenge might be an emotional outburst, fast, impulsive, predictable. But for the most dangerous ones, revenge isn't a fire that flares up. It's a slow-burning ember, fed by patience and calculation. They don't want you to hurt just for a moment. They want you erased. And they're willing to wait as long as it takes to make sure their plan has no crack. They might spend years building a relationship with you, becoming your most trusted ally, the person who's always there when you need them. But it's all a facade, a thin coat of paint covering a machine built for destruction. What makes this sign the pinnacle of danger? It's their invisibility. They leave no obvious signs, no concrete reasons for you to suspect them. They might be someone you see every day, someone you'd never consider a threat. But while you live your life, they're counting every day, every hour, waiting for the moment when everything in you, your strength, your awareness, your support system has quietly vanished. And when they strike, there will be no thunder to warn you, only the silence of a storm that has finished its work. So how can you recognize them before the storm hits? Look for their patience. Is there someone in your life overly invested in your future? Not because they want to see you succeed, but because they want to know where you'll be and when. Is there someone building their presence in your life slowly, steadily, but never revealing their true intentions? That's not sincerity, that's the patience of a predator waiting for their prey to step into the trap. To protect yourself, you must look beyond the surface. Scrutinize those who seem too perfect, too steady, too harmless. Don't let their silence fool you. Silence isn't always peace. Sometimes it's the signal of a storm gathering strength. Always have a backup plan for your safety, an exit route, a trusted ally, a strategy to stay standing when the sky starts to fall. Because with the patient predator, time is not your friend, it is their weapon, and they won't stop until you have no chance left to run. We've just walked through a long, chilling, and deeply revealing journey, uncovering the 5 signs that a narcissist doesn't just hate you, They want you gone. The silent information hunter, watching you from the shadows. The life-sabotaging artist, crafting a masterpiece of destruction from your broken pieces. The fake best friend, turning your trust into the sharpest blade. The disguised threats, whispering prophecies behind a veil of laughter. And the patient predator, building like a storm, waiting for the perfect moment to drown you. These are not enemies you can ignore. These are not relationships you can fix with a simple conversation. These are living shadows, predators in human skin, and they will not stop until they've fulfilled their ultimate goal. If you recognize any of these signs in your life, don't spin a story to excuse them. Don't convince yourself that you're imagining things or that everything will be fine if you just ignore it. The knowledge you have now is a flame, a bright light that shines into corners you once feared to look at. But that flame will die if you don't act. If you don't use it to protect yourself, you are standing at a crossroads. One path leads to ignorance and devastation, the other to vigilance and survival. The choice is yours. But remember, ignoring these signs isn't just a mistake. It could be the last decision you ever make. Before I let you go, I want you to do 3 things right now. First, save this video. Not to watch once and forget, but to return to whenever that quiet voice of intuition starts to whisper again. Second, share it with the people you love, because they too might be standing at the edge of a darkness they can't yet see, and you might be the one who saves them. Third, watch my next video on how to deal with narcissists, because recognizing the threat is just the first step. Your survival depends on what you do next. You are not a victim of this darkness. You are a warrior, armed with the light of truth. Don't just survive, rise. Live alert, live empowered, and live beyond the reach of those who would drag you into the abyss. I believe in the strength within you. Now believe in yourself, and walk the path no shadow can follow. I'll see you on the other side of the light.